T.
Miss 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 T.
Can't wait for you to meet Miss T. She is the T in T.
Have you ever wondered why maybe someone in business is doing things better, or maybe they're winning, or how come an athlete outperforms another athlete? I got one word for you: consistency. Now, I've studied business and practiced it for 39 years, if you can even believe that. I promise, I have evidence. But for 39 years, I practiced business. And of those 39 years, there were times where I just couldn't do well. I couldn't do as well as I saw some of my peers in industry doing. And I found that what I was doing was I was trying this trend, or jumping on this bandwagon, or changing the way I did things, or, and I'm not saying anything about, being agile. What I'm saying is not giving things enough time to mature through being consistent in your practices, your systems, your policies, your structures. And so, what I want to talk about with you today, hopefully, I'm going to help you build something in your life, your lifestyle, and your company that's going to help you experience the power and the outcomes that are attached to just simply being consistent. And so you know the fable about the tortoise and the hare. Yes, you can get someplace very, very fast and experience some level of success. But there's something to be said about the steady, consistent pace toward a goal. It does a couple of things, and this is why I think it's powerful. It not only gets you where you're eventually trying to go, but it's what's built in you on the journey with consistency. So, endurance is something that consistency produces. Most businesses don't make it because they don't endure. They want the thing fast, they want the outcomes fast, they want the money and the success fast. Well, it just doesn't quite happen like that. And I see more of that today, especially with I want to be a YouTuber, I want to go viral. Okay, but there's so much that happens before a person becomes that. The process, the pattern of consistency will always produce endurance, which will lead you to excellence in whatever it is you're consistent in. So you look at the Michael Jordans, you look at the LeBron Jameses. Many people look at the wow, they're doing this, but what they don't see is how many times they got up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and did their drills. The consistency of doing just one drill will produce excellence in this one thing. So I'm saying you have more power than you know, especially in anything that you're trying to do, when you practice being consistent in attacking it, in trying it, in, ooh, get this, in failing at it. Most people don't consistently experience enough mistakes, enough failure for your brain to develop and mature in an area where you can master something. One of the best teachers, if you let it, is a mistake. Mistakes should help you with your programming. It should help you know what not to do, and it should help you know what to do. So if you take the example of, Benjamin Franklin and a light bulb, 1,000 times, I don't know if that's the actual number, but I know it was a lot, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of failures to get to the one success. But he consistently tried, consistently worked at it, consistently asked questions, consistently challenged his own thinking, his own actions to get to the success of something that we cannot live without today. So I'm telling you, you have more power than you think. The power is not in brilliance, that's developed. The power is not even in ability. It's whatever you're consistent at, you will be enabled more to do it. Whatever you're consistent with, you'll develop the brilliance for it. So when I first started dance, and that's a cornerstone of, one of my larger organizations, I just danced. I wasn't perfect. I can't say that I was always on beat. I didn't always have music, but I kept trying it. And I would study other people and I would teach people and I would try different styles and different songs. But a pattern of consistency in my life as it pertains to dance has made me masterful as a dance teacher, an educator, a performer, or just someone that likes to do dance socially when I'm out and about, at a wedding reception or something like that. But it's decades of movement that has created something masterful in ability on which I've built an entire company. I'll also suggest, consistency in, debt retirement. At a point in time, and I don't say this with, great joy and enthusiasm because it was really hard, but I was in over $600,000 worth of debt. You don't want to know how I got there. Just know that I got there. I got there by making some decisions that were not smart. I got there by agreeing with some people to, sign some deals because I wanted something fast and I didn't want to be patient and wait for the right opportunity. And ultimately, it cost me. It cost me my credit. It cost me my home. It cost me the building that I started my first company in. It cost me a lot. It was a huge risk and it didn't pay off well, but I wanted to get out of debt. And so, in practicing consistency, I realized that one, I had to stay on it. I had to keep giving it my attention. And so I built a system where I would keep my bills in front of me, I would keep the debts in front of me, and then any extra income that came in, I consistently put it against the debt. So I was sending, payments of $1 sometimes because I got an extra dollar and people would make fun of me. But I so wanted to be out of debt that I practiced being consistent in giving it my attention, my time, and my resources. And in less than 3 years, just about, I was completely out of debt. I had my credit was totally restored and then some. And the things that I lost during this time of, which I think was a time of recession for everybody, I've more than gained back and better. And so, yes, it's 3 years of being, um, accountable and not buying things that I wanted to buy, but the consistency paid off. And so I'm suggesting a couple things to you today. Let's say, for example's sake, that you're one of those people that you want to get out of debt. Let's say you're one of those people that you want to build your house, you want to build a house, or you want to build a company. I want to give you a couple things that I did to practice consistency because it's one thing to say be consistent. It's another thing to build systems and structures, um, processes that help you maintain consistency in a specific direction so that you can feel the power or the impact of it. And so, systems and structures. Number one is I jot things down. I write a plan. I always make a plan. So, what's the plan? The plan should consist of whatever the goal is and the timeline in which you want this thing to be accomplished. And then you practice your consistency steps toward the goal. And so, for me, when I wanted to get out of debt, is I listed all my debts and then the contact information for all my debtors and the method of payment for them. And then I started being consistent in communicating with them. I think that sometimes when you're in debt and you're working with a debtor, they don't always want everything, but they want something. And so I would say, "Hey, are you willing to negotiate with me?" Because I know at this point you have this, chunk of money that I owe you, and yes, I owe it, and yes, I made the mistake, but if you're willing to settle with me just so I can get this taken care of, I would be grateful. And more often than not, having that exchange made the difference and because I consistently asked the same question, in the beginning there was like, no, we want it all. And then for that, after that, they were just like, okay, well, wait, what can you do? but I knew I couldn't do it all, but I could do something. And so just asking sometimes consistently can get you what you want. It can open a door. Then I built the system where I was consistently putting something toward it. So first is I jotted down what's the goal? It's debt freedom. Second, what can I do by way of communication, education, information exchange to get closer to, something I can do right now? And then third, what's the system where I'm constantly and steadily putting something against what was my debt? And so you want to build a system of consistency. And I think that, once you start practicing that, it can become a habit, it can become a lifestyle. The other thing is, I started to find out ways that I could save money so I could give more toward my debt. And so I would consistently call the internet company, the phone company, the um, SMUD company. Are there any programs? Are there any deals happening right now? Are there any discounts happening right now? So that became a money saving thing for me. And every 3 to 6 months, I had it in my calendar that I am going to make these phone calls. I'm going to sit at my desk and I'm going to make these phone calls on my lunch break. And it always worked to my favor. There was always an internet company doing some deal where you get whatever months free, and I would take the money that I would have paid for the months that I got free and I put it against my debt because why? I had a system. Had a system. Another thing was I started to write letters to the people that I was indebted to. This is my situation. These are my circumstances. Is there anything that you know of that can help me get closer to my goal of retiring debt? And I found that when I did that kind of communication, they were so grateful that I cared, that I wanted to do the right thing. And so, again, when I said top of conversation, that it developed the journey of consistency, developed something in you. What it began to develop in me was character and integrity to do the right thing financially, even when it was really, really hard. And that characteristic, that integral practice has not left me. So I still do things in other areas, not just financial, in other areas that are really hard, but because through the pattern and the practice of debt retirement and what I learned on that journey, it really has shaped how I'm showing up in the world as someone with steel like character and integrity. So when I say things like consistency is power, it truly is. If you're looking to accomplish anything, get started, keep going, never quit until you hit target. And if you're one of those people like me where you got a lot of things on your plate and you're multitasking and multifocused, then you build a system within your system that forces you to be consistent toward the goal. I have people that I coach that want to do marathons. Well, we got to consistently get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go to the gym, and run on the treadmill. And you have to do that for 40 minutes. And here's your pattern of consistency. Well, what about a cheat day? There is no cheat day if you want to run the marathon. There is no cheat day. The cheat day happens the day you cross the finish line of the marathon, and you have to be consistent in the practice so that you can perform well in the game, so you can hit target. I have people that come to me, okay, well, how do I help my kids accomplish, this dream of being a talent that works in industry? Well, they have to go to school and perform well in school. Then they have to do after school dance classes, acting classes, singing lessons, running scripts, and they have to have extracurricular activities at school because they have to show that they're some kind of leader. They got to show that they're a leader. And then they got to hone in on what part of the industry do you want to go in? Do you want to sing? Okay, let's get you singing. Do you concerts or opening for something or doing videos? But the ultimate goal is teaching them that, okay, yeah, you can have you're cute and you can do all the stuff, but if you're not consistently doing the steps to develop yourself as a talent, it's a wish. It's not even a hope. It's just like it'd be nice sort of a thing. And so teaching the parents that Yes, your kids have to develop some consistency in working towards this goal, but the parent has a part in this. So you have to consistently take them to the classes. You have to consistently find the money to do lessons. You have to be ready to jump on an airplane and go do an audition or do a video audition whenever an opportunity presents itself to you. So there's some consistent practices that happen on the side of the parent as well. And I find that what the system that most often works with that is first deciding that you're going to do this thing because it's a lot. So again, I'm not saying this to challenge anybody that wants freedom of lifestyle, but I am suggesting that if you want something lofty, a bigger goal, a bigger dream, or like me, I wanted to get out of, 600 over $600,000 worth of debt. I had to be targeted, I had to be consistent, I had to build the system that helped me with that. And then I could experience the fruits of it. And the fruits of it are the things that it built in me, not necessarily the things that it built for me. So I hope that you will agree that there's so much power in just being consistent. And as you work towards any goal with consistency, it'll build something in you and something for you. So thank you for tuning in today. And I hope you consistently come back so that you get more nuggets, more strategy, more technique to help you grow and change and transform, not just you, but the people around you. Make sure you like and share and subscribe and comment and come back because I enjoy doing these things for you and I can't wait to see you again very, very soon.